check. And welcome to the Davenport Coaches Show. We are coming to you live from Uccello's in Caledonia. I'm Rick Berkey. The head coach, Sparky McEwen, is here. We'll be talking Davenport football for the next half hour or so. Davenport coming off an exciting 21-12 season opening win in Erie, Pennsylvania against Gannon University. Coach, good to get a win anytime. Good to get a win on the road, especially to start the season off. And you guys played well, and you had some bright spots on both sides of the ball, I thought.
We did. And it's good to be back and, getting on the road, especially one of that significance, going over, to Pennsylvania to play Gannon. And we knew that it was going to be a tough battle and a well-coached team. And as you see, they outgained us in pretty much every category, and in my times of coaching, that was one of the more stranger games that I've been affiliated with. We had some opportunities and we didn't take advantage of many opportunities, and they took advantage of theirs. And then there were some opportunities they did not take advantage of. And but there was a lot of good, for us. And I would rather win a football game and then come back and take care of some of the mistakes that we have over the bye week.
To kind of review some of the game, you cashed in early a fumble recovery on the 15-yard line of Gannon. And in your very first play, you went to Cephus Harris, who will join us a little bit later in the show. And he took it in for his first Panther touchdown, the first of two on the afternoon, and got off to a good start there.
He did, and I was excited for him because, obviously he has a older brother on the team in Miles, which was actually voted as a captain. And then Cephus obviously following in the footsteps of his brother Myron. That's a lot of pressure, to go out and perform that way. But I couldn't be more proud of him and excited for the family because they've been really good to DU and they've been great for us, So just getting him to get that touch and get in there with the power that he displays, it was big.
All right, that made it 7-0 Davenport after the PAT. Then later in the first quarter, Gannon comes back and they score a touchdown, make it 7-6. And what could have been a disastrous play for Davenport, a really bad break. You block the PAT, you scoop it up. One of the Davenport players is running uncontested the other way for what would be a two-point conversion, but the referee had blown it dead on the block, and it negated it because of an inadvertent whistle, as much as I could understand.
It was correct. The white cap, the referee, he told me right away, he goes, Sparky, I made a major mistake here. And you hate to see that. You hate to see that, and obviously, when the day ends, it didn't affect, ultimately the outcome of the game. But, wow.
It could have.
it very easily could have because, you were a part of this game as well, Rick. You saw it was really a strange game, the way it was going. And, we never felt like we didn't have control, but we actually never had control, if that makes sense to you. Because if you look at the numbers, they were up and down the field. They held the ball for 41 minutes. We had it 19 minutes. And now understand, we played with a little more pace, but it was actually a little too close to call for my comfort level.
So it stays 7-6 till late in the second quarter where Gannon puts on its best drive of the afternoon. They get all the way down 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line. And it looks like they're going to take the lead as they can take the lead with either a touchdown or even with a field goal. They take the lead, possibly going to the locker room. And then something happened on the Davenport side. Markell Gilford decided he was going to make a big play for Davenport. Again, it's 7-6 Davenport, but the Golden Knights of Gannon are 1st and goal at the 5-yard line, and here's what happened. Back to pass. Harris in the pocket. Steps up. Now he's flushed out. Now he's going to run to the left. Looking, he throws it at the corner of the end zone. Intercepted Davenport. Back to the 10, the 15, the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 40, 35, 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown Davenport! 100-yard interception return for the Panthers. And it was Markell Gilford who not only set the tone for the game, but he wrote a new record in the record book for Davenport, a 100-yard interception return. And you could just see the whole sideline just erupt and just charged up after that play by Markell.
Huge play in the game, and it was something because if you recall, we were debating on going forward on fourth down, and we decided to punt the ball away to them and make them go, the distance. And sure enough, they commenced to going 95 yards, and Markell came up big for us, with that pick six, and something that his name will live in the record books forever. With that 100-yard return.
He later got banged up in the game, but he's okay?
He's doing fine. Actually, it was a cramp that he suffered that he could not shake, and it was one of those deals where I thought it was worse than what it was. They said, no, Coach, it's a cramp, and he could not shake it to get back going again.
Then in the third quarter, you got things going, and had a really nice drive. DeJuan Mathis had a key 26-yard run to move the chains, and that got it into Gannon territory. Eventually, you moved it a little bit farther, but a key play. 4th down and 9, you decided to go for it. Tell us about the strategy and going for it, kind of in no man's land, weren't you there?
Yeah, it's one of those deals for us where, I talk to our staff and our players all the time and tell them that, this is one of those seasons where I really feel, confident in some of the veteran players that we have, and I'm pretty sure you're going to see us go forward a few more times during the season.
Well, you decided to go for it. DeJuan Mathis with his best pass of the night, I thought. Gannon's defense trying to get the team off the field. Long count for Mathis. Takes the snap in the pocket, looking. He fires it long over the middle. It is caught at the 10-yard line to the 5 and all the way down near the 4-yard line. George Sims, the Wisconsin native from Racine, made the catch on 4th and 9, a huge pickoff, bumped down by Stewart. But it's 1st and goal. Davenport, they'll spot him at the 4-yard line. And that was a big play indeed, and it turned out that you would get down to the 2 where Harris would score his second touchdown of the game, and that gave you the much-needed breathing room, and that was important there for that. So, again, George Sims was correct on the reception, right, on that? That was a big play for him.
Correct. That was George, and we were looking forward to him having a breakout game. And as advertised, he's been one that, he's been hampered by some injuries in preseason camp. But, George, we need him to show up big, and it worked out well.
Again, that led to Trey's second touchdown, and having that 2-touchdown advantage was really big because they kept moving the ball between the 20s on you. So you needed that 2-score advantage, at least for peace of mind, because they kept getting some first downs. And but they took a long time with that last drive, and even if they had scored at the end there, which eventually they did, there wasn't much time left.
Well, another big, moment in that game was the field goal that they missed.
Oh, good point, yes.
And so with it being a 2-possession game, that's one of the reasons why we decided to punt as well, is because we felt good, about the red zone defense. We've always played tough red zone defense down there. So I felt like the staff did a good job of bending and not breaking during that game on a number of occasions. And just, my whole deal was they never had a big play. They were steady. They had some consistency. And the next thing you know, man, that clock was just a ticking, 41 minutes to 19, So just getting out of there with that win, Rick, man, that was a big one to go on the road and execute some of the things we did. I was excited about the penalty battle. One of the things that we discussed is that we wanted to win the turnover battle, and we want to do well in regards to penalties, and both of those things I felt like, we executed well for us.
You mentioned you held them off from the big play. They had only one rushing play of over 15 yards, and they did have a couple nice pass plays, but again, you kept them. There was only one pass play over 25 yards, so that's important from your defense. I thought Miles Harris had some nice pass breakups for you in that game.
Yeah, in both those plays that they did have, they were pretty much broken down plays. One where the quarterback, he got loose on us. He was tough. He was tough for us to handle. And, when you have an athletic quarterback like the one that they have, they're going to give people some troubles. As long as they can stay healthy, they're going to give teams, a little trouble because he's as advertised. He started quarterback at a Division I school. And for whatever reason, they ended up getting him there at Gannon, and he's legit.
And last week we talked going into this game about Tank Mason, their outstanding receiver, and we saw flashes of his brilliance Saturday afternoon, didn't we?
We did, and once again, if you keep those, they got a running back that's pretty good too. If they keep those that trio healthy, they're going to be tough in the PSAC.
All right, well, we're going to come back, talk a little bit later, but we're going to take a little break here. And we're going to be joined by Cephus Harris. We call him Trey also. Outstanding running back, had 2 touchdowns in his debut, so let's come back and talk about that, Coach.
Okay.
All right, we're listening to the Davenport Coaches Show live from Uccello's in Caledonia. Stay with us. And we continue with the Davenport Coaches Show live from Uccello's in Caledonia. Rick Berkey alongside with Cephus Harris, a junior running back from Clinton Township here in the great state of Michigan, who had a big game in his Davenport debut. The Harris family has been very, very good to the Davenport football program. Of course, his older brothers, Myron, and became the all-time leading rusher in Davenport history. And Miles Harris, of course, outstanding defensive back for DU right now. He joins us right now. And first, let's talk about your first game. 110 yards on the ground, almost 8 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. You had to be pretty pleased with that game, Cephus.
Yeah, it was just it was like a coming back game, basically. Like, when I was over at Youngstown State, I really didn't get like a lot of snaps and a lot of attempts and stuff, but like as soon as I got here, Davenport really trusted me, with the ball in my hands and everything, and I really appreciate it, and I made it worth my while. So it was definitely a huge turnaround, but I was ready for it.
Yeah, in fact, in 3 years at Youngstown State, you had more carries Saturday afternoon than you did in your entire career. One more carry. You had 13 in your 3 years there. You were redshirted 1 year. Last year just 9 carries, but 14 here for that. But I'm sure you picked up some things, Youngstown State, that helped you as a football player. What did you bring over that's helped you here?
Oh, yeah. I brought a lot of things, how to read fronts and, how to read defenses and everything, and how to be, more patient with the run and how to be more efficient and everything. So it's definitely has brought me a long way. For sure, and with the coaching staff that was there at Youngstown, really poured a lot into me, and which helped me come out successful in our first game, and leading up to that, it was a lot of prep and everything, and what I learned how to prep for games at Youngstown, it became very easy for me, and it really helped me, getting ready for Gannon. So I'm gonna keep on doing it and keep on improving.
His full name is Cephus Harris III, nicknamed Trey. That's why you hear me call him on the air, Trey Harris, with that. So,
yeah.
But you go by either of them, right?
Yeah.
You do as well. Again, what did your older brothers, Myron and Miles, teach you and show you as far as growing up, how to be a good football player and how to handle yourself on the field and off the field?
Just overall, just being responsible and just knowing when there's a time to have fun, and then there's a time there's a time to take care of business, and all my life it was basically all about business, and we was taught about college football, just a game of football very early, and how it is, and how it was going to be, once we got here. And, kudos to my dad. He got us all ready, and had our minds, ingrained into how it was going to be like. But yeah, it was pretty much straightforward. It was not rocket science or anything, but it was definitely something that changed our sports lives for sure.
Well, you showed you meant business. Davenport got on the board first. We told you they got down to the 15-yard line after recovering from in the very first play. Cephus, call him Trey Harris, cashed in for the Panthers.
Yeah.
Trey Harris in the backfield in the pistol formation now. Is Mac Vandenhout. He will give it to Trey to the right side, to the 15, cuts to the outside to the 10, down the sideline to the 5, to the 1. In the pistol formation now. Is Mac. Well, he scored on the touchdown. We had some technical glitch there, but you did score on that touchdown. It was great to see that. And you got off to that great start, and that had to feel pretty good to get into the end zone there.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a good feeling, having my first collegiate touchdown. But it just felt normal to me, and it felt like I picked up right where I left off. So I was pretty familiar with the end zone my senior year of high school, and I'm glad to step foot in there again, and I plan on doing it every game.
You had an outstanding high school career at Chippewa Valley High School in the Detroit area, first team All-State. You had 300 yards in one game. What do you remember about that game?
That game, I was just focused on I was just focused on winning and doing what I had to do in order to get the job done. Because every time I end up touching the ball, I wanted to make something happen with it in order for us to win. I'm all about putting the team in the best position to win and doing anything that that I got to do in order to make that happen. So that was my main focus going into that game, and I seen it was coming down to the wire. So and they ended up putting the ball in my hands, and I just made some things work.
Coach Scott Merchant, your high school coach, what did Coach Merchant teach you?
He definitely taught me how to be a college football player really early. At Chippewa Valley, it was all about handling business and having your mindset on football once you step onto the field and things like that, and I'll be watching film with him and everything, and he will be teaching me about fronts and everything at a very young early stage during my career, and I really appreciate him for that, because if it wasn't for that or anything that I ended up picking up along the way, I wouldn't be standing right here.
You're a sport management major. What are you thinking about doing with your degree once you're done with Davenport and playing football?
I really haven't thought about it clearly yet, because my mind is just all over the place and everything. But I'm thinking about coaching, having second thoughts about it. But if not, I'll just focus on doing things that I like doing, like hobbies and things like that. Just probably gonna step into being creative, probably creating video games and stuff like that, if it ever comes down to that. But I'm pretty sure I'll figure it out.
Joe Burrow is your favorite athlete. Where did that come from? When did you catch your eye?
That was a while ago, when I had chose that. But I really like Saquon Barkley, and I really just grew up during high school and stuff, watching him going at it, at Penn State, and just going into every game, applying pressure early and making big plays early, and I was just looking at that, and I wanted to be like that, but better, and everything that I do, I try to dedicate my running style to him, and and a mixture of Marshawn Lynch as well, but yeah, he's definitely my top favorite player for sure.
All right, well, it's great visiting with you. Great job again, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns, almost 8 yards a carry in your Davenport debut. We look for big things for Cephus. Call him Trey Harris. Thanks for joining us. Go back and enjoy some of that Uccello's food, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
I will take a break, come back with another special guest here on the Davenport Coaches Show from Uccello's in Caledonia. Davenport Coaches Show rolls on from Uccello's in Caledonia. No game this week to talk about for Davenport. They played in week 0 last week with the big win at Gannon against the Golden Knights in Pennsylvania. And so they've got this week off, chance to get ready for their next game, which is a week from this Saturday against Truman State in Missouri. So Davenport will hit the road again. First 3 games and 4 of their first 5 on the road for the Road Warriors. Our next guest joined us right now, Markell Gilford. We talked a little about earlier, 5'9", redshirt sophomore from the Motor City, went to River Rouge High School. And Markell made a big impact on that play. You didn't get to hear it the first time, Markell, so we thought you want to catch it now. We'll set the stage for you again. It is 7-6 Davenport leading late second quarter. Gannon is driving. They've got a 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line, looking to take the lead and the momentum into the locker room. But my good friend to my left here, Markell Gilford, decided to step in and do something about that and not only change the tone of the game, but set a Davenport school record in the process. Back to pass. Harris in the pocket. Steps up. Now he's flushed out. Now he's going to run to the left. Looking, he throws it at the corner of the end zone. Intercepted Davenport. Back to the 10, the 15, the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 40, 35, 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown Davenport! 100-yard interception return for the Panthers. And that is, again, not only turned the game, it's wrote himself into the record book, and that's got to feel pretty good, Markell, to get in the record book like that. Tell us about the play, kind of just rehash what you remember about it and walk us through how it came and what you were thinking as it ensued.
It was like a big turn event. Defense got off the field. They punted the ball, but, you know, they end up getting the ball back, so it was sudden change, and that's something that we practiced a lot during fall camp. Like, sudden change was like a big factor, so it wasn't nothing that, you know, defense wasn't prepared for, and we knew we had to go out there and we had to get the stop. Like, it was a big stop, it was a major stop for us, and just going through the play, like, I knew it had to be stopped. No field goal, no points allowed at all, and just trusting what the coach called. We ran our calls. And D linemen did their job, had the quarterback scrambling, everybody's covered, defense looking good, and he thought he seen the opportunity, and I took it from him, and we went all the way back. We went 100. I think it was like 102 yards.
It actually was a little more than 100. Yeah, I called it 100, and but you're right. It was actually, you were a couple of steps inside the end zone when you made it. Not only had the interception, Markell, but you also broke up another pass. And you were in on 5 tackles, so you had a good game all around. Although you came up with a little bit of a leg cramp later, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a little bit of calf cramp. I think just a little bit more water I got to get in my system. That's about it.
Yeah, but with that great play all around and that record-setting 100-plus yard interception return, you were named the GLIAC Player of the Week defensively. That's got to feel pretty good to you, bud.
Yeah, that felt pretty good. It felt pretty good.
You were all conference at River Rouge High School as well. Tell us about your high school days at River Rouge and how that prepared you to be a college football player.
The good old high school days. It prepared me to be a college athlete because we went through a lot of adversity. There was a lot of adversity there, and with the adversity being there, it just shows you your character and it shows you who you really are as a person, as a football player, as an athlete, as an overall player. And like no other, football is the sport, so it's adversity everywhere, and it's nothing new to me, nothing new to our players. We got to fight through it, and it shows our true colors.
You were an honor roll student at River Rouge High School and all GLIAC all academic last year, so obviously academics are important to you. Tell us what that means to you.
Yeah, that means a lot to me. Like the classroom, it ain't really nothing to play around with. It could determine whether you play football or not, and I know I want to play football, so going hard in the classroom is that's big. It's big for me, big for the team, and it's big for Davenport when we had our 3.1 GPA as a team.
You were redshirted in 2023, Markell, and then had limited play last year, and you're making already a big difference this year. What do you think is responsible for the big jump from last year to all of a sudden becoming now a key player on the defense?
I think the big jump is, I really think it was opportunity. It was more so opportunity. I got my opportunity and it presented itself.
And you cashed in like that. Was there name an upperclassman maybe? Was there an upperclassman that really inspired you to really hone in on your skills either this year or last year or the first year even that really showed you the way you thought?
Yeah, linebacker Latrell Scott, he just been on me the whole time I've been here. Like even when I got discouraged, even when I was at the lowest, the highest, the medium, he was just always telling me like, I'm gonna give my chance. I just gotta see it through. I gotta go. I gotta keep pushing hard. Like I'm gonna give my chance. And now that I'm looking back on everything, he was right. He was right.
Latrell was on the program last week. Very fine young man and a real leader. Not a real vocal guy, but he shows leadership in other ways, doesn't he?
Yeah, he can get vocal sometimes, but yeah, he real chill, laid back, and just the way he carries himself shows the leadership itself. He ain't really got to say too much.
Markell, you're a business major. Tell us, I know your redshirt sophomore. You're thinking about maybe when your Davenport days are done, what you'd like to do with your degree?
Yeah, when I'm done with football, like what I really want to do with my degree, I would like to probably like go into like real estate.
Okay, that's a great opportunity there.
Yeah.
And now, because you're a Lions fan, so let's get your prognostications on how the Lions are going to do this year. There's some cautious optimism, yet people are not as optimistic as they have been the last 2 years. What do you look for the Lions this year?
Super Bowl boys, Lions, we're going all the way, Super Bowl boys.
Tell us about your family, Markell.
It's me, my mom, my dad, my grandma, we really like a small family for real, like nothing much to it. We close, we stay together, and we like move as one.
Did they get a chance to see you play very often?
Yes, they do. They see me play often.
Were they in Erie Saturday?
No, they didn't make it.
Okay, well we'll get them here. We'll get them here at the home game for sure. I guarantee you that. Markell, I know you didn't get here in time to order, so we want to get you out there enjoying some of this great Uccello's food. Thanks for stopping by, and we look for more big things for you. And you can go ahead and set another record. Why not?
Thank you so much for having me.
Great having you here. Markell Gilford. Take a break, come back with Sparky McEwen one more time here on the DU Coaches Show from Uccello's in Caledonia. Final segment of the Davenport Coaches Show. Again, Davenport off this Saturday as playing in week 0 allows you that bye week. And, Coach, that bye week can be a positive or a negative. If you hadn't come up with a win, it would have been 2 weeks you'd have to live with that loss hanging over your head, but you got the win, so it paid off.
Yeah, everyone looks forward to a bye week, but just like you said, Rick, if you had that bye week and you just took that loss, whew, it makes for a tough time, So a lot of mistakes that were made, and we get the win, and we get to fix them and allow some guys to heal up, and we got a few guys that actually didn't play in that game, So we'll be full force here in a couple weeks.
I was going to say, overall, it looked like you came out fairly healthy out of the game.
We did come out fairly healthy, and and now with that, a mix of getting some guys back as well. We'll get back in the mix 5 players. That out that 5, I think 4 of them are starters. That's going to be a big help to us.
The other side of that bye is that it kind of takes you out of that cycle. You get into that game cycle, every Monday you do this, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. What do you do this week differently, knowing there isn't a game at the end of the week?
There's no change. There's no change for us. We still have our same practice schedule, and, the biggest difference is that they will not play on Saturday, okay? And we allow them to, take that as is. You don't have a game on Saturday, enjoy that day off, and get ready for next week. But, the boys had a really, really good practice today. And it was interesting because I went into today, trying to figure out what kind of team I got here, and wow, I got a group of professionals, man. They came in, the leadership is good. We chose our captains, and the boys, I'm proud of them. They came in, they attacked the day the way you need them to attack the day, knowing that you don't have a game on Saturday.
Well, we mentioned Markell Gilford. We talked with him about being not only the Davenport football defensive player of the week, he was the GLIAC player of the week, and I know you take special pride whenever your players are named the GLIAC player of the week.
We do. It's their moment. And for him, and we talk about, showing up big players, making big plays at big times. And for him to do what he did there, he's been a pleasant surprise. I'm excited because I still got 2 or 3 years left, with him. And the same with Cephus. When you have those type of individuals returning, to your team and having the success they're having early, that's setting it up for early leadership, and that was a huge play that he made because it was really a strange game that was going on, and it was at the end of a 90-yard drive.
All right, so on offense, Trey Harris was your offensive player of the week. Defensive player of the week for the Panthers was Markell Gilford, as we mentioned. Special teams player, Dom Grguric, he blocked a punt, right? He got a hand on a punt.
He blocked a punt. He recovered an onside kick. He's just all over the field. He's going to be one of the fan favorites. And besides that, has some nice key blocks, within the offensive scheme, so I am excited about him. He's a Division I transfer receiver. And I think, like I said, he's going to be a fan favorite. You're going to love him throughout the season.
All right, you had 2 Panthers of the week, Keontae Nixon and Jared Vines. Tell us what the Panther Award is for.
The Panther of the Week, this is my favorite, award. It's a coach's award. It doesn't have to be a starter. It could be a starter. It could be someone that's on the scout team. But it's someone that exemplifies what leadership looks like, what team player looks like. And Keontae was first team All-GLIAC last year. He led
at Roosevelt.
Yeah, and he led the league in receiving. He got on the bus, and he was so giddy and happy. And I said, hey, I'm sorry, we didn't get the ball tree enough. He goes, Coach, I don't care nothing about that. He said, I didn't win a lot where I was at. He goes, seeing how the guys are here and winning, the winning culture, he goes, it just makes me feel good. And that's what you look for, in your culture, is guys just being selfless and understanding that at the end of the day, the goal is to win the football game. The goal is to win the football game, and he exemplified that as well as Juice. Vines has been out. He was one of the guys that I tell you that was out. He traveled, and it was a last-second decision made by our staff that we're just not going to play him. He could have played, and it worked out. Now he should be back healthy as a corner for us next week. So big decision there made, and once again, next thing you know, he's just cheering on his teammates, excited for his teammates. And he could have had an attitude about it, but he took a different route. And he was one of the guys being the leader on the sideline because we needed him to be vocal that way. And so I'm proud of Juice for having that attitude for us and being that Panther of the Week.
Well, Coach, you're 1-0, and that's the best you could be at this point right now, 1-0. And so enjoy the week off, and we look forward to coming back 1 week from tonight and getting ready and talking about the game a week from Saturday.
Absolutely. We'll take advantage of this time and heal up and get ready for a big-time battle in Missouri.
That'll wrap it up here from Uccellos in Caledonia. Thanks to them. They're great hosts. They do a fantastic job with the service. There's a million big screen TVs everywhere around. The food is great. The service is great. The atmosphere is fantastic. Check them out, Uccellos of Caledonia. That'll wrap it up here. Thanks to our special guests here, Markell Gilford and Cephus Harris, as well as Coach Sparky McEwen. I'm Rick Berkey saying thanks for tuning in. Once again, go Panthers.